welcome to the Glowing Skin series. I'm Christine Ho, and today I have Jeanne Provost. She is a transformational life coach and a hypnotherapist. So welcome and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you, Christine. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. And so please tell us your own personal story.
Well, my own personal story getting into life coaching. I actually became a coach about 7 years ago when I went through kind of a big life change. It was one of those periods of life where your life feels like it's in this nice, beautiful bowl of beautiful marbles, and it was turned upside down and everything scattered. They all scattered in different spots. And I found coaching just by chance one night in the middle of the night, and I saw a video with Christy Whitman, and I thought, oh, I just so resonate with this, and I went and signed up for her classes and became a coach, and it's really it transformed my life, and I love how it transforms everyone else's lives. So I feel like really blessed that my journey, even though it was a hard journey at the time, it brought forth all this really beautiful work for myself and for others into the world. So, and hypnotherapy, I became a hypnotherapist like 2.5 years ago, and it's another tool I use with my clients, and it helps really transform their lives faster. So it's kind of my story on that.
Oh, yes, of course. That sounds like a very lovely transformational story. And it's so nice and wonderful when you get to see how you can actually work to help others grow and become better versions of themselves.
Yes.
Of course. So please tell us, some examples of, how does hypnotherapy work to help others?
Well, hypnotherapy, what it does is it goes into your subconscious, and our bodies, our brain is 90% subconscious and 10%, maybe a little higher. If you meditate and do some other things, you have a little more activity in your mental brain. But the subconscious part of your brain is a huge part of your brain. And unknowingly, and some people who are aware of this knowingly, have things that have affected them in their life, past conditioning, whatever it is, that they, once they look at it and unhook it and move forward from it, it changes their whole life. So to me, and I use it for everything. I use it for, some people want weight loss, some people want no smoking, just kind of those basic things, but I personally love doing it for just your own personal growth in life. And then business, it's amazing what it does for people's businesses. If they have an idea of, getting really clear on what they want, if you do hypnotherapy with it, it's reminds me of, the shape of an oil can, the funnel with that little pull. It's like sticking that into your desire, and it just shoots out way faster. It's like this release comes a lot quicker. So it's a beautiful tool to use for transformation and really moving forward and trying to create a really beautiful life for yourself, not just a meteor life, but a really beautiful life. So,
oh, yes, of course. That sounds really amazing, and
yeah.
Such amazing work, really. So how does meditation work to help others as well?
Well, meditation, for one thing, when you're meditating, you're in this mindful state, and it's not like every thought is gone out of your brain. Like a lot of people think, oh, I can't do this. I think all the time. Well, that's not what it's about. It's about giving yourself this space of calmness. And then, at first when you meditate, like when I first meditated, your brain can think 3 things at one time easily. Some people probably more, but, it's like the awareness that comes with, oh, wow, I have a lot going on. And I always picture a zipper, like zipping one thought shut, zipping the other, and breathing and sitting in that silence of that breath, or guided meditation I love. There's all forms of meditation, and I don't think one is better than the other. It's what feels really good to that person, that it's happening with. So what it does is it calms your body. It actually changes your brain. I went to a brain talk not too long ago, and they had pictures of people who have never meditated, like the shots of their brain, and after they've meditated for a month, 6 months, a year, and there's this huge change of activity in their brain. So that's why I say, some people, their brain functions at 10% and their subconscious 90, but some people who meditate and do like a lot of inner work in that, they actually expand that. And so the biggest thing it expands, I think, is awareness. And with awareness, you make positive change in your life, because you can't make any change at all unless you're aware.
Oh, yes, of course. That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Yes. And I've actually heard that meditation works very similar to prayer. Would you actually say
Yes.
that,
Yeah, because I grew up Catholic and, very prayerful. I pray every day. I wake up to a morning prayer, before I meditate. That's the first thing. And it's very similar. And I always think of prayer as the asking, the meditation, sitting in the quiet's almost like the receiving. You receive the answers, you receive guidance, you receive during that quiet space when you can pray and ask and meditate and just sit in the silence. You hear direction.
Oh, yes, of course. So you would say that it's actually better to have both instead of just one or the other?
I really love both. Personally, I love both. I think prayer for many people can be meditative. When I was in Bhutan and in the Catholic faith, which I grew up in, the rosary, is one meditative prayer after another. In Bhutan, they, on those, it's double the rosary, it's a chant, they say, which is their form of prayer on each bead. So, and that's very meditative. So I think there's a definite, it's almost like this little, infinity sign when that center part is, here's prayer, here's meditation. That center part's like just where the expansion happens with both of it.
Yes, of course. That actually does explain a lot, I'm sure, for a lot of people in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yes, please tell us, how do you help people to feel beautiful no matter what their life stage may be?
Well, the biggest way is by helping them, because most people, when they first come to me, are in a state of there might be chaos going on in their life. There might be a lot of uncertainty. They might have really big decisions they have to make, or they just want to really restructure their whole life or their business or whatever it is. And so when you're in the state of, I guess that's an agitated state almost, to calm that down and go within and do your deep, deep inner work, that as soon as you start doing your inner work, it expands out into your life. I do really deep work with people. I call it soul work, where you touch the deepest part of yourself and open that essence and let that expand outward into the world and create a really beautiful life for yourself and get clear. I mean, if you don't know what you want, which many people don't really know what they want, and they can be 70 years old and not know what they want still. And I've watched such beautiful transformation take place at that age. And, I think we're all meant to grow in our lifetime. So when I work with people, I help them grow, and that growth is what creates that beauty, inside and out.
Of course. So how do you help people to grow and to become their best selves?
I help them really look at their life and listen to like their true essence of themselves. Like I help them ground themselves to get to that part where they can hear what is their best direction. And we all have a different best direction. Nobody's is alike. Not one person is the same direction. And as soon as they get clear on that, then they can start stepping forward, you know, each week doing a little more, a little more, a little more. And a lot of times there's a lot of old past to unhook. And that's where the beautiful part of the healing part comes in. And, you know, that old past conditioning that it's like it's clogged up inside of you. It's like heavy energy inside you that needs to be released. And as you do this work, each piece is gone. And then you have this free flowing energy, which, you know, people always say, well, how do you, your skin looks so nice. You're all that. It's because I meditate. It's because I do the work I teach my clients. It's because I take that time each day, no matter what. Like I might not do my exercise one day. I might eat dark chocolate, like a whole bar one day, but I, no matter what, do my meditating, and I combine it with writing. And that's, I love that combo, because when you meditate, you go deep within as you write things out. And that's when a lot of people find their answers. And so, you know, I really believe the calmness that happens during meditation and the connection that happens to your deepest self, your soul self, is what expands your own beauty out into the world.
Oh, yes, of course. That makes a lot of sense. So can you also explain some more about how working the mindset and doing all these different practices that you've described helps so
Mm-hmm.
much with so many other people, especially on the outside, and their skin, especially as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, for one thing, if you're thinking negative thoughts about yourself, no matter what, you're gonna have that appearance on the outside. It's because every thought, your feelings too, it's all energy. You know, we're all energy. We're all made of energy and matter and all that. And our thoughts are made of energy. Our thoughts are made of that. So they project out into the world. So if you're, again, I always go back to the awareness. When you become aware of your thoughts, and what you're really thinking about yourself, then you can do work. And one of the biggest things is most people in the world have to find self-love and unconditional love for their self first, you know, their self-confidence and their self-esteem. Well, a lot of people have self-confidence and can do a lot of things in life, but the self-esteem part comes from really loving yourself first. And when you love yourself, it's like loving that true essence of who you are, that soul part of you, which we all have in us. And then when you're able to do that, you can love everyone else unconditionally. And that takes away the judgment of anyone. You know, you let people kind of live their life how they're choosing at the moment, and each person goes through life in their own way. You know, we're not supposed to control anyone. We're supposed to just, you know, try to be present in their life, you know, instead of a control thing. And so I think when you love unconditionally, you open to dropping all that unnecessary, I have to have it this way only, that. And it's more like the divine energy comes in, and your real, what you're supposed to create in life and how you're supposed to do it just comes through way faster. And it's a really beautiful way to be in the world. It's like there's peace in that. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. So I guess I would like to ask, you know, for the audience, especially, you know, for those of, you know, them who want to know more
Mhm.
about loving themselves and how they should start, what are some steps that you would give as guidance to help them to start with being able to give themselves proper love
Well, yeah, the very first thing that always comes to my mind is Louise Hay, who was just such a leader in all this, is her mirror work, which a million people have heard of, but to actually do it every day until you feel that your heart go, oh, and expand a little. And just stand in front of the mirror every day and look at yourself and say, I love you, until you feel that little tingle inside, and then do it again the next time you're washing your hands, but begin by just taking that would be the first step. I always tell clients to start doing when they're not in that space of loving themselves.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So are there any other tips that you would recommend for those in the audience to start with?
Well, there's so many. Well, that, and then honestly, meditating, even if it's 5 minutes in the morning, and then get a journal and write right afterwards. And because when you meditate, you connect, and then when you write, you can write out. You can either write out things that are bothering you, and that helps that energy leave your body, or you begin creating the newness in the words. And so it's like the first part of the newness of what you want to create is already out in the world. It went from thought onto paper, and so you're creating this stream of energy of either disconnecting old stuff or creating newness. And that is a really beautiful way to start, just, on your own personal journey in life, and really connect to what you're meant to do in life and meant to be, and who you're meant to be in life.
Oh, yes, of course. That's always good advice to help with so many people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the meditation I'm giving today, the free meditation, will connect. It's about beauty on the inside and out. And I know you're going to probably ask me about that, but the thing about that is it is about unconditional love for yourself, and then expanding that out to others. And that will be a nice tool just to have.
Oh, yes, of course. And yes, I was going to ask that at the very end.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. But I thought I'd throw that in just because, that will be a tool you can use from the very get-go. That, and do mirror work. If you need to connect to yourself and start loving yourself, that would be a first, and do the journaling and writing.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So please share with us, what are you most proud of from 2017?
Well, this is pretty funny. I became a grandma, and I love it. I'm a nana to this beautiful little baby. And so I do have to say that was just so proud of that. And it was a miracle. My daughter was able to have a baby. And so she feels like this little miracle baby. And that, and just a lot of personal growth for myself. And then it's really interesting. I'm always a step or two or three ahead of all my clients, and then they all have grown so much. So, that's always just such a beautiful thing. And I've had a lot more family time, which has been really nice with my family, because I made a move and moved outside of the city. So that's another thing for me that's been really important.
Oh, yes, of course. Those are all really wonderful things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. Yes. And so please tell us, what are you most excited about from 2018?
Well, actually, I'm so excited. I'm almost done with my final rewrite for my book. So that will be out. And then and that's plugging in, connecting to your universal gifts. And that's really about, and everyone kind of knows a lot about that already. I mean, not all people, but some people. But the nice thing about this is there's this missing element that was never talked about, like in The Secret and all that. And that is trust. And it helps you learn to trust at this really high level. And so the energy that you want to create really starts happening. And it focuses more on not just the the, your thoughts become your words and actions. It's not just that. It's everything combined together just in daily life, using those universal gifts we're all here to have, to use and help us move through life easier. So that, and then I have, I'm not sure when they'll actually start, but I will have webinars and classes starting. Yeah, so as soon as everything's all ready, I have to do a lot of video work.
Oh, yes, of course.
For that.
Yes. Well, that sounds like a lot of work, but it would be so great and wonderful to help so many people. So.
Yeah, I'll be able to reach way more people, and I'm very, very excited about that.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Yeah.
It ought to be so incredibly exciting as well. So yes, I can understand all of that. So even though you did share a little bit about it earlier, please tell us more, especially more details about your free gift.
Okay, so my free gift it's a guided meditation, and it's actually kind of almost hypnotherapy. So I would like people, and I'll have that written on there, listen to it at bedtime, because it's very deep, and the music actually brings you into a deeper state, so you will sleep very well after you listen to it, and it connects you deeply into yourself and helps you unhook any old conditioning. And then after that, you go into this beautiful essence of connecting to unconditional love within yourself, which helps you in any forgiveness that needs to happen for your own self and others, and then lets you just bring that beautiful feeling of love out into the world. But it creates a big essence of peace in your life. And I think if you do it, a lot of times people do hypnotherapy once and they feel way better. But I always like people to do it for a few weeks, off and on, or at least 3 times a week for a few weeks. And that's when I see really big transformation happen.
Oh, yes, that sounds very remarkable, and
yeah,
something that I'm sure a lot of people would benefit from. So can you also explain to some of us, like, what kind of transformations that you've seen happen?
Oh, wow. Well, I've seen huge things from I'll give a little hypnotherapy from, I have clients that are young in sports, and some that are, in their 70s and I can't say one person is a more beautiful transformation than the other. But it's really interesting. They're all different. And I've seen this young kid go from wanting to be, had all these goals to run with the seniors, and do all this stuff. And each time he ran, he made a better time, a bigger time for himself. And every single thing he asked for occurred. And so that's my biggest thing is when you do your inner work and you figure out what you want, and then we do this desire statement. This will be a seminar which people can take really easily. And when you do this work, things happen faster. So I guess one of my other favorites is a lady who had a business that was very, and it was more of a like esthetician work and massage and hair, all that stuff. And she grew her business like tenfold in a matter of a year and a half, just by getting really clear, figuring out what she wanted, doing the hypnotherapy work, doing everything and following through, and being accountable, showing up each week, and just transformed everything really quickly. And it's so like, that's a visual thing I gotta watch, it happened because it was the whole, adding on to a building, doing all this work. So that was really fun to be able to see that. One of my favorite stories is a lady who had just lost everything and was living on nothing, and totally turned it 100% around within 6 months. And the thing about it was, the thing that held her was what I said, what I teach a lot of people is to trust at that highest level. Know what you want, but you have to trust it's going to happen. And when the trust comes in, and it's like I always say, reach to the highest level, like reach, like you're reaching up on the highest shelf, you know, expand your trust, expand it. And once you start doing that, that like connects, reminds me of a dot to dot. Instead of going like this, it just goes, it raises everything. Everything happens in just a faster way. So